Hello YouTubers, welcome to the Budget Stacker. So, you stack precious metals, silver and gold, maybe palladium, maybe platinum, but should you also stack fiat cash? I'm going to talk about my perspective on that today, so if you're interested, stay tuned because here we go. What's the definition of fiat currency?
According to Wikipedia, fiat money is a type of currency that is not backed by a commodity, such as gold or silver. It is typically designated by the issuing government to be legal tender.
And that's what this stuff is. So, should you stack cash along with precious metals? In my opinion, in the opinion of a lot of other stackers I've heard, I think you should. It kind of depends on why you're stacking. So I should preface it first with that. If you're just collecting and maybe numismatics, maybe you feel like you're collecting different kinds of gold and silver coins. You don't really see this, maybe a store of value over time, but you don't really see it as financial insurance. I do. I think gold and silver are financial insurance that protect against the dreaded SHTF scenario, stuff hitting the fan. We all have our different definitions of what that might be, but a lot of people will be essentially talking about fiat currency. And yes, this is only back because they say it is worth something, but I can take this today and this and a few others, and I can buy silver and gold. One of these quarter ouncers, this is, I think, in the 500 to 600 range, probably more in the 600 range right now. This obviously in the 20 some odd range, depending on when you're watching the video, maybe even higher. So these are precious metals. They are commodity. This is silver. This one here being gold. They have intrinsic value in the metal themselves. These have been traded, bartered, used as currency for precious metals throughout history. Centuries of evidence that people value gold, precious metal, silver, scarce metal as well. Both have very nice qualities and have always been deemed to have value throughout the centuries. So a lot of people, like myself, do stack or collect, whether it be bar form or coins or silver rounds. We're collecting precious metals, and some of us are doing it against that stuff hitting the fan scenario. So if things were to go really bad in our economy, the worst case scenario would be that the fiat currency that everybody had trusted as being worth a certain amount of money suddenly becomes less valuable. So this fiat currency does have value now, and like I said, you can purchase precious metals with it now. So that's evidence that the society is putting value against these. These. They're not even paper; they're cloth, but they're it's just essentially cloth or paper-like money that's printed by a government. And a lot of times we get paid all of these dollars electronically. It's just a number that hits our bank account. So it's not even something that we physically hold. And it doesn't have cool little holograms like the $100 bill does. But yeah, if the stuff were to hit the fan, even if this started to lose value a lot, let's say inflation got really high, and the value of we know this is this paper money is going away. It's slowly shrinking. If you look at the historical value of what you could buy, you can buy less and less with this as time goes by. At some point, the government's going to overextend themselves. Now, the good thing about the US dollar, in this case $20, we have been the reserve currency. That is of many different nations. They kind of, keep US dollars in reserve. They trade and exchange and deals with it. That's kind of starting to go away. It's still there. And whenever you see a country that has really bad economic issues, as long as they're not totally against the U.S., they start using U.S. dollars because they can't trust their own currency. So we still have some cred out there in the world, credibility, and that's really why we haven't really seen as much of an issue in the U.S. Reserve currency as well, but again, that is kind of fading. I personally think if currencies are going to fall, the first ones that will do it, and that could set the U.S. dollar in a domino effect too, I think it's probably going to be the Japanese yen or possibly the euro dollar. That could make a contagion, though, which makes everybody wonder, well, is this worth anything as well? I think initially, though, everybody would be running towards dollars because we're one of the stronger economies, and it's been thought to have value. So I think the dollar would still be in good shape, at least initially, in a stuff hitting the fan scenario. So because of that, initially, you're not really going to have a lot. I don't think you're going to have a lot of bartering in gold and silver, but you will still have the need for cash. Now, some of the things that kind of happens in these bad economic times is that maybe banks aren't allowed to release as much cash per day. They have limitations on how much cash you can take out. They're trying to avoid a run. And I don't think, and I'm not telling you should take all your money and put it in cash and put it under the mattress. That is a really stupid and somewhat dangerous idea. But you can have a nice little stack of just emergency cash, well hidden, put into your safe, that will kind of protect you for those first periods of time if stuff does go really bad and you can't get funds out of ATMs. Maybe it's even a natural disaster that wipes out the power. When the power's out, you can't get money from an ATM. So I think it's always good to have some cash on hand. It's just a little chunk of cash I have for emergencies just in case. And I don't have to worry about there being no ATM power or no ability to get to a network if some sort of EMP disaster were to wipe out the networks. I have some cash on hand. I'm not going to put tremendous amounts of cash. This is a pretty good chunk for me, but I'm not going to put tremendous amounts of cash in the house because that's you put yourself in danger of being robbed. And if there's a fire, these burn really well. Hopefully we'll never have a fire in our house, but if we do, I'm going to the location where my silver and gold vault is, and I'm going to find this metal and I'm going to refine it, and it's still going to have value. Maybe not as much intrinsic value as say something like an American Eagle, but this is going to be a glob, at worst case scenario, a glob of gold, and you better believe I'm still going to get that value even after, if it were, God forbid, a terrible fire. This is going to be ashes. And that's another reason not to have too much cash, but good to have some cash as an emergency situation in case, the stuff does hit the fan. I got all fun things like gold backs too. So things like this might be barterable after the initial, stuff hitting the fan scenario. And then of course, fractional gold, silver, 1 ounce silver rounds, things like that. That may come into play. The only problem with precious metals is not that many people have it. Now, maybe that means that those of us who are stacking will be able to disperse that into the society a little bit, because we'll take this silver ounce and we'll trade it for something we need, that somebody, they only have this stuff, or they have some product that they want to sell and they don't want to take this stuff anymore. In that worst case scenario, this is going to help in the long run. But in the short term, cash is king. So definitely a good idea to have an emergency stack of cash on hand, I think. I wouldn't make it too big. Be careful about that, especially if you're in a situation where your house is not very secure. There's people there you don't trust. Find another way. Put it, safe deposit box, you have to depend on the bank, but find another potential way, and or maybe just kind of stash a little here, stash a little there in different locations, just so you have it, but in a safe location. So it doesn't work for everybody, but I would suggest, my idea is just as many people are as well, just have some cash on hand just in case. You never know. Maybe they'll start outlawing people that buy gold and silver. They're trying to track everything now. So if you do orders, they're going to be able to know that you're dealing in. They're going to bullion dealers, and probably not if you're going to local coin shop. And that's another good reason to have cash, because if you go to your local coin shop, they're going to want some of this stuff. So you can kind of keep that on hand. So as deals come up, you can go to your local coin shop and convert this fiat currency into a real money. That's about all I want to say on that one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you do, please do give us a thumbs up. Thank you all for watching. Do appreciate all your comments as well. Love to hear if you have, if you have your name on your account, don't say, I got this amount of money at home. I'd love to hear your comments on whether you think it's a good idea to stack cash as well as precious metals. Don't forget the precious metals. Talk to you soon. God bless. Take care. Have a great evening, dusk, morning, whatever it happens to be. Take care.